Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your day is going great. Mine's been really awesome so far, and today has been a very eventful day. So most of you guys already know, since you are on the YouTube platform, you follow my channel usually daily, I'm sure you've wandered across the Seagull video today where he talks about the problems with Overwatch. And I must say, it is a very well-rounded video. He covers a lot of different points about why Overwatch is really in just such a stale state right now, and a lot of players are exiting the game or just not really wanting to play anymore. Specifically, Seagull is one of them, Defran's another one, XQC has been one. Let's be honest, almost every single daily Overwatch streamer gets very frustrated by the end of their stream, and usually at the very start of it, just because of how upsetting the game is because of the current state of the meta, just how solo queue works in general. You're always getting players who aren't trying, throwing, raging, whatever it is, there's always something bothering you. And Seagull basically covers all of the issues with the game in his video today. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I will be linking it down below in the description, so definitely go check that out because this video is in complete response to his video. I'm sure you've already seen it though, but it will be down in the description. So as I said, this is a response to his video. We're more so going to be looking at the aftermath of it. We're going to be taking a look at Surefour's response to Seagull's video because, as you can see by the title, Surefour doesn't agree with a lot of things in Seagull's video, especially the way Seagull approached it, and he made it very clear on Twitter that he did disagree with a lot of it, and he actually hopped on a stream today with Jane and Seagull, and they discussed it for a while, and there were some very valid points coming out from Surefour. It was a well-spoken argument where both parties brought up very valid points, so there's a lot to learn in this video, guys. We're also going to be taking a look at what XQC said about the video to Seagull. He hopped on the podcast for a second as well. He actually completely agreed with it, but that will be today's video, guys. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of what Seagull Surefour said on Jane's stream today about the video, what the issues with Overwatch is right now, how we can possibly fix them, and I will be giving a little of my opinion here and there in the video as well. So if you guys are excited to watch this, do yourself a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Pause the video, click that red subscription box, do yourself a favor. If you want to stay updated on any controversy, any Overwatch League information, you'll find it on my channel every single day, so do it. And now without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it, and we'll go straight into what XQC said about Seagull's video.
Did you have any points when you watched the video that you were like majorly disagreeing with Seagull on?
No, none. I don't think it's.
Wait, did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I think it's just hard to disagree with anything that someone says when it's about the state of the game or the patches and stuff. It's like actually hard to disagree. It's hard to find points against it.
That's honestly the best response you can give to anybody asking you what you think about Seagull's video. Straight up, it's just hard to disagree with anything he says. The meta we're in right now is just super stale because there's so many damn counters, and it just makes the game rock, paper, scissors, which isn't fun. And then previous to that, we were just stuck in a dive meta for a year and a half where heroes like Mercy were just completely broken and took forever to get nerfed. So that is what XQC had to say about Seagull's video. He didn't really speak much on the topic just because he completely agreed with what Seagull said. So there's not much more for him to say, which I completely agree. I won't be giving my opinion too much in this video, except for basically agreeing with a lot of things that Surefour and Seagull both mentioned because they know it best, man. They've been competing at the top level as pros and also in ranked for so long. They know the game. They know how it should be fixed. So there's really no need to question them or back anything they say. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into Surefour's initial response to Seagull's video today. This is what he said on Twitter. Seagull's video has a lot of thoughts and concerns with the game, with almost no solutions for the problems he addressed. If you don't offer your own solutions for a problem you present, couldn't the game designer just misinterpret whatever criticism you could have presented? So this was his initial response. And of course, this was a very controversial response because a lot of people were in agreement with what Seagull said. And this is what led to Surefour, Seagull, and Jane all getting on stream. So let's go ahead and hop straight into that stream, guys. This is going to be an extremely long clip here where Seagull and Surefour kind of go back and forth and give their opinions on things that Seagull mentioned in his video. Very knowledgeable. Be sure to listen up and take in everything they say, guys.
Did you watch Seagull's video already?
Yeah, watched all of it.
What are your thoughts, Lane?
I'm the type of person that I like when there are like solutions to problems people represent. And before I made my post on Twitter, I didn't know you made that intentional, but I still like when there's actually a solution or at least like something they can work off of, because like anyone can criticize someone. Anyone can be like, hey, like say you're walking down the street and like I'll try to avoid swearing, but like you're walking down the street and you see someone with like clothing on and you don't like their style and you're like, hey, your clothing looks bad. And then you kind of just leave it with that. Like, sure, that's the type of criticism. Like, yeah, your clothing's bad. And they're like, well, why is my clothing bad?
Yeah.
So like you could say I don't like your clothing. I think it's bad because like the colors aren't that good. Like the colors don't work together in a way. Like that's not a clear solution, but that is like something they can work off of.
So that is one thing that's kind of missing from the end of your video, is I was expecting you to propose some actual solutions to the to the problems that you presented themselves, but we kind of just leave it open for discussion. So were there any, you mentioned role queue previously, Surefour, feel free to chime in as well, but
See,
go ahead.
I've talked to the devs a little bit about role queue and why why it's very hard to implement into Overwatch. And the only reason it's weird is because everyone thinks of it as like 3 roles, right? Like tank, DPS, and support. But unfortunately, in Overwatch, there's actually 6 roles, which is what it is in like pro play.
Mhm.
And the only reason to get it like actually like working in Overwatch is if you have those 6 roles, which is main DPS, flex DPS, main support, flex support, off tank, and main tank. So
Yeah,
if you
go ahead.
yeah, if you only introduce 3 roles, DPS, main tank, and support, you kind of get the gist of it. But like, what happens when you get like 2 Rhine players on your team? You kind of have the same problem as you did before, as like even if you just had like random players playing it. Because to be really good in Overwatch, a lot of people specialize in things, but you're gonna still have the same problem. So the only way to inherently fix that is if you add those 6 roles. But then the only worry is, what if the queue times just become ludicrous because of it?
Thoughts, Seagull?
Let me go one step at a time. So the solution part, the reason I don't talk about solutions is because I'm not a game designer, and every dev that I've ever talked to at any company, including Blizzard and the Overwatch team, I think even Jeff posted this directly on the forums, is they really appreciate feedback from the community and players that's structured like, this makes me feel this way, or this makes me feel like this. And the reason for that is because they're the ones who know the intention behind everything. And so it's more constructive feedback to them than trying to say, this sucks, implement this. And maybe they have a lot of reasons behind the scenes of why they can and cannot implement that. But if you talk to them about the feeling, they can address the negative feelings and experiences with the game in another fashion.
So your approach to this is kind of like, this is what, from my experience, I don't like. This is why I don't like it. The solutions are up to you. You're the professional, and the intent behind the original design. So it's up to you to come up with the solution. You being the devs.
Yeah, yes. I'm not a developer. I'm a pro player, and so personally, my bubble, like of what I'm competent at, is looking at the game, complaining about it, and criticizing about it. But I'm not a designer, and so I don't have the ability to have good ideas, in my opinion, most of the time. Like, I can come up with maybe a good idea, but I don't think I'm good at it. So that's the first aspect
Perfect.
I want to talk about. The second one that you want to talk about was role queue. And to me, I personally don't think role queue is needed because within my SR level of GM+, it is extremely rare not to have a generally structured team of 2-2-2, or at least 2 tanks or at least 2 healers, stuff like that. But maybe for the lower level scene, maybe they do have that problem. But I wouldn't know because I don't have the experience on the low level SR, right? And then the other issue is, I think a lot of role queue can just be done behind the scenes, where a big issue that I personally see is not necessarily that there isn't enough, but one role has too many people. Like you have 3 Rhine players, or you have 3 supports, or back in the days you had 4 Mercy 1 tricks on your team. You're sitting there going, wow, this is fun. And so I think a lot of that should be done behind the scenes in the matchmaking algorithm, where they go, okay, we're just going to guarantee, not guarantee, obviously, but they can figure out who usually likes to play tanks, healers, and supports, or DPS, and kind of go from there and make sure there's at least one. And I probably would assume that they already do that behind the scenes to some extent. And then it avoids a lot of the issues that we're talking about with those roles, where it's, there's actually a lot of roles in Overwatch. There's a crap ton. And to sit there and be like, okay, we're just going to have like this flex role. And like, I guess you guys are the tanks, and I guess you guys are the healers. And then everyone else is just this generic flex, or there's all these issues with it that they can just avoid by kind of handling it behind the scenes, I think.
We actually, in the discussion just privately with my stream, privately, but on my stream, we said the same thing, that role queue would be extremely hard to implement, but like an intelligent matchmaker where it just checks to make sure, you don't have like 4, Ana one tricks or something on your team. Just kind of like a sanity check. Would this team function if people want to play, their top 2 most played heroes, or is there too much overlap? But Surefour, you're kind of a guy who likes to propose solutions, or at least comment directly on balance. Did you have any kind of other suggestions or solutions to the problem with ranked being complete shit other than role queue?
Well, one of the problems that solo queue is always hard is it's usually not even a problem of like game balance or like what heroes are like introduced in the game. A lot of like the feeling of hopelessness people have, especially in a very team-based game, is because it is team-based and your performance completely relies on other people's performance. So like if anyone's played any MOBA like League of Legends or Dota 2, you can get these exact same feelings because you can do the best you can and still lose because it's the other people on your team that you need to do something to help you. And one of the ways to avoid that kind of feeling is like, some people get this feeling because they do really well and they think that win is deserved. And when they think it's deserved, that's when that kind of feeling of like frustration comes in, because that's when they start like being like, I should have won this game because I performed very well, but I didn't because of these guys over here. I think that's the main problem with solo queue and team-based games, and that's the frustration people have. It's not always because of what the heroes in the game are.
Is that fixable?
That kind of feeling is mostly a mindset thing for the most time. That you need to like think like, am I doing everything I need to do? Yes. Can I control these other people? There are ways to control it, like, hey, our comp is shit. Hey guys, I think we should switch to this comp. Like, say they go goats, and now you're frustrated they're goats, but you don't say anything like, hey guys, we should switch goats back. Then like you're getting frustrated for no reason because you're not like actually doing anything to like cause a fix to it. So you can either say like swaps that might help you win. So like they go goats and you're like, hey guys, we should go goats too. But if you never say it, you're just gonna get frustrated yourself. But then it's like, if your problem itself is I don't like playing goats as a meta, then that's a different problem.
Seagull?
What I was going to say is the whole aspect that you're talking about where you're trying to assist your team and micro your team constantly. From a streamer perspective, doing that for 6 to 8+ hours a day is nearly impossible, because when you put that much emotional investment on every game, by the 5th game of people not doing it and your average day, you're just like, man, I'm just not even going to bother. This is fucked.
Yeah.
Right. Because you get tilted. And that's like, I think that's a normal human response. And then I don't know. I kind of forgot where I was going with the rest of
Okay, so I gotta wait for us to move on here.
All right, so we'll go ahead and stop it there, guys. I will link down below the full stream, which is like an hour and a half of Seagull, Surefour, and Jane talking about the issues. I do feel the first like 15 minutes, which I just showed you guys, was one of the most beneficial parts to listen to. But again, the link will be down below if you want to watch the full entire past broadcast. There is more valuable stuff. It's just that this is a YouTube video and most of the points have gotten across. I do think Surefour comes in here with a great perspective of kind of looking at it from a very high level professional look. He understands that this game is a team game, and no matter what, for him, the only thing matters is having the best team, and that's the LA Gladiators, and he brings that straight into ranked. He understands that if his team is going to be raging or tilting, not trying, throwing, whatever it is, it's out of his control, and at the end of the day, his mentality is that it just does not matter that that team doesn't care or are throwing, because he's just going to end up working on whatever he needs to work on that game and move on to the next one. And once that game is over, that's it. It's over. There's no need to get frustrated, which is a very, very mature mentality, and I completely respect it. But for many people in the world, they don't have that great of mentality, and it's just general human nature, as Seagull mentions in this video as well, and he has a great response to that too, saying, I can't really just micromanage everybody 24/7 because I have to stream and entertain people as well. I'm going to get extremely frustrated trying to do that or worn out. So again, there's just so many good points both of these guys bring up during this entire discussion. And that leaves us off sitting here with like, what do we do now? It's on Blizzard, it's on Jeff, it's on the developers to figure out how to improve Overwatch. Honestly, at the end of the day, I still love this game to death. Overwatch League is one of the greatest esports and just structured leagues of all time. I'm in love with it. With the Hangzhou Spark coming out yesterday, I cannot wait for Season 2. And I'm going to be here regardless if the game dies or if it survives and grows even more. I do want to see amazing success come to it, so I hope the Blizzard developers fix it, because ranked right now is really hard to play, and I'll be honest, I haven't played much ranked. I did try maybe like a month ago for a few weeks, but I ended up quitting once again. So that's pretty much my response to this, guys. I did want to show everyone this podcast between Surefour and Seagull. I feel it is very important. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here. If you want to stay updated on this situation and any other Overwatch League topic, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more daily content. Anyways, that's going to be it for me, guys. Peace.